welcome back to the Jackie and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn. Especially today.
Yes, today. It's our anniversary.
Do you know what today is? It's our anniversary.
Yes, it is. 21 years married to this woman. Love you so much.
Ugh, he still gets on my nerves, but...
But I love you. It's been 21 years. Hey, guess what? But now we're going to do today.
Anyway.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification. Married at First Sight. Season 15, episode 14. No Hugs review. If you're watching this on delay, make sure you want to go to a specific couple, make sure you go in the description. Hit the time codes and it'll take you directly to that couple. So we try to do that for you because I know you guys have a busy schedule. So make sure you do that. Join our membership as well. Let's get started. We're on our way to decision day, and the couple's gonna go on a retreat. They go on a retreat. So I like this time. I love when they go to retreats because I like to see what the houses look like.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Like this house. Like how? I
checked it out. $1,200 a day.
It's beautiful and it's sitting on top of a mountain, like by itself. I feel like this is a house like Tamar and Vincent used to live in or something. You know what I'm saying? Because they had a house that was like that too. It was like really, yeah. It was up there. But it was beautiful.
$1,200 a day.
It better be beautiful.
Yeah, not a month, but $1,200 a day rental. A day. I ain't mad. I just need to get my YouTube game up. So y'all make sure y'all hit the subscribe button and that bell notification and share this with somebody else, so we can get our $1,200 a day. Airbnb rental. But anyway, our review. Let's go.
All right. So obviously it's the couples retreat weekend. Yeah. So they have a whole lot for them separate. For some of the couples I did, like Mitch and Krysten, not really Stacia and Nate. A lot of theirs was
sexual.
Crossed. No, it went over into other things.
Oh, okay.
But it was that too. But anyway, so I'll just start real quick with Stacia and Nate. Yeah. Because we see them preparing to go on the retreat, and she was like, she went toy shopping for the weekend. And she was like, what you want me to bring? So they actually had a little whip. Yeah. They had a whip. She had some pleasure panties. It was vibrating panties. And
we're talking about those later.
She was like, how about let's do this? She said this twice. She said later on she said she charged the battery and the panties. So how about I give you the remote, and when we around the couples, you know, you be controlling and everything. That'd be so funny, right? It didn't turn out to be so funny for her.
She couldn't control herself.
No, he couldn't really control it because he didn't know how to turn. He tried the remote beforehand. He was like, she said, you know how to turn it off? He was like, yeah. He didn't.
He did like most men did. He looked at the instructions. Hey, I got this.
He did.
He didn't even read the instructions.
You know, that was a thing for them this episode too. Everything they had, it was like, let's read the instructions. Why don't you read the instructions? But he didn't. Nate didn't
read the instructions.
He didn't do that. So she was like, you know, I thought that'd be funny, you know, if you had a remote, and they actually do it later. So we'll get into that. But so that was really it with them individually. The rest was with the couple.
Yeah, okay? I mean, we can go ahead and just test them with the couples. I mean,
no, I want to do it all together.
All right, let's do it all together. Sorry, excuse me. Take your time. Sorry, y'all see I'm messing up. Go ahead.
I want to do that all together.
All right, let's go.
So then real quick with Justin and Alexis. So they're going to the retreat. And they're getting ready for a special event that Miguel has set up for Lindy. That all the couples are in, so she's getting dressed or whatever. And she asks for help with her shoes. She needs her shoes buckled. And he's like struggling trying to buckle the shoes. And so she says, you know, have you done this for women before? I was like, oh my gosh, she's insulting this man.
Every time she get a chance, she is jabbing this dude. She's insulting this dude.
I feel like if he never did it, and maybe she's just talking about women in general, because I'm thinking, even if you ain't never buckled your girlfriend or your fiance shoes, I promise you buckled your mama's shoes.
Grandma, baby, I can't reach down here.
I bet you buckled your mother's shoes, your grandma's shoes.
Somebody. But the little 6-year-old shoes who couldn't get her shoes buckled.
Right. So he's struggling. He was like, I'm trying to skip over. I don't know what he was trying to skip over. He's like, anyway.
Maybe she told him, I want the last notch.
Maybe. I don't know.
And he tried to get her around her fat feet. He got the notch there.
And so, he was like, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to skip this part. So she says, well, just like, you know, like when you was trying to take my bra off, you was struggling with that. I was like, oh, God.
Was he trying to do one hand? Because it's not hard to take a bra off. It's really not.
I was like, this is so embarrassing. Like, you don't know how to take a bra off.
I'm just happy that he was taking her bra off. Maybe he was taking
because we find out.
We find out.
Well, let me say this real quick. This is what he said. He said he was struggling to take the bra off. He was struggling to take the bra off. He said, if I can't see it, if I can't look at it, it's hard. Again.
Bruh,
you must don't have no experience. No, you don't have no experience. I got a fun. I don't know if I ever told you this. I have a funny thing. I think I did tell you this. But you just take it off. A guy taught me how to take my bra off with one hand. Okay, I was about to say,
come on.
A guy.
It's 21 years. Ain't no secrets, dog.
I'm just making sure because I be forgetting.
Oh, that's like Stacia and Nate. I'm gonna be mad like Nate.
No.
Because of some dude to help you take your bra off.
No, he didn't help me take it off.
He taught you how to take your bra off?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be mad like Stacia and Nate?
With one hand. I know how. I've been wearing a bra. It's like, you can't do it with one hand. Watch me do it with one hand. I was like, oh no, you ain't gonna show me up. This is my bra. But anyway.
What are you taking your bra for? Or showing you in one hand?
You know why. Stop playing. My sister gonna be so embarrassed. But anyway, so yeah, I was like, he said if I can't look at it, I can't, unhook it or whatever. And I was like, gosh, really? Bruh, you just don't. Anyway, and so she laughs and she was like, she made a joke. Oh yeah, no, I ain't taking no bra off. My wife could do that herself. Let her take her own bra off. And she gets a good kick out of that. And then she says, are you ashamed you had sex with your wife? Wow.
Nah.
So we find out we find out after that talk with Devon Franklin, Pastor Franklin, and to help her brother out, that she helped her brother out, and they consummated.
And she was picturing Devon Franklin the whole time.
Dumb.
She had visions of Devon Franklin the whole time.
No. But they consummated the marriage. Wow. They actually did it.
And he said
she was all grins, though. She was all grins and giggles. Considering what she says later, I was like, what you grinning? What y'all grinning for?
No, we'll go into that because go into that.
Hold on.
Because Justin said.
He said he wasn't embarrassed at all. And he says he feels like it was 10 times better because he said he feels like it was 10 times better because they waited. And she asked, did you enjoy it? He was like, yeah. And so after that, they had that little conversation. They practiced their prom poses in the mirror.
He looking at her titties.
She makes her breasts.
She said titties.
Right, but their breasts.
She said titties. I'm
he said, I'm just looking at you in the mirror. She was like, yeah, but your eyes are looking right there. He can't help. You got the plunging neckline. You got you got all the side boob.
All the side boob.
Well, I mean, duh. And that's your husband. And he just got him some. He gonna be looking at you for days, child.
He wants some more. He want more.
Real quick with them, we see them go to a wine bottling place, and they do wine tasting, and he surprised her with this, and she says, oh, everybody says you're all smiley and stuff, because you got some booty glow. got some booty glow. And she was like, she thinks the energy has changed. And he was like, no, that he's more relaxed and there's no sexual tension or pressure. And he feels like, I feel like my energy, he said, I feel like my energy's just the same, but I am glad it happened. And
he ain't backed up no more.
He, then they have a whole conversation about, he said, I don't feel like I've given my all in these 8 weeks. Certain things just happen. Certain things just won't happen in that time period. So when he says I haven't given my all, it's like we haven't experienced every situation that a married couple might go through. So I can't tell you, like, you haven't seen how I would act in this. And she took it a different way. It was like, but no, I have been giving my all. He said, no, I'm not saying I'm not giving my all. It's just, again, in 8 weeks, all the stuff is not going to hit the fan in 8 weeks. So I don't get to see how you act when you're grieving, when you're super happy, if you lose a job, all those life situations that can happen. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, well, she took it as like, I'll be giving my 100% the whole time. If that's her 100%, then we got a problem.
Yeah.
But she said she's giving everything. She's putting all into it. You know, I want to go back to the thing he said, like, and I have to cross over this because he said the sex was great. Everything was wonderful. It was good, tremendous. But when she's talking to the girls, she had a different story.
Right.
She said, you know, it's just like your husband. You know, haven't had it in about a year and a half, and it was quick.
Yeah. She said she told the girls like, you need to work on his stamina.
You need to work on his stamina. And then, but she said she's a pleaser though. But she also want to be dominated. So what signals are you saying? You're pleaser, but you want to be dominated, so you're gonna please him. But then you talking about his stamina, and you talking about this, and you know what I'm saying. So to me, this guy, she's sitting off mixed signals when dealing with Justin. But again, you're putting your husband. She talks too much, and she's putting her husband's business out there, which leads into a conversation with Stacia and Krysten about having sex with somebody and it's not good. Mm-hmm. Or it's not what you think it should be. What do you do? You know, and she talked about, you know, she's saying, "This is my husband. I'm gonna stay there and be around." And that girl was out after 8 weeks. I said it on the review last week. She ain't attracted to him. She got sex from him, and it wasn't what she thought. And they don't communicate very well. She's done. Yeah.
What she said later that Stacia and Nate kind of joked about was like, she was like, Stacia told, okay, first of all, let me go back. Stacia says Justin told her that they consummated, and Alexis confirmed. But so later, they say something about it in the couple setting too. And so Stacia was like, oh yeah, in their vignette, Stasia's like, oh yeah, Nate, they had sex. And she said she was a pleaser, and it gives her pleasure by pleasing her husband. And Nate was like, what? So it don't matter if she likes it or not. Like, it's just about him. That's kind of selfish. Like, stop playing. You can't be real. But yeah, she in that setting, I was like, why you tell them people that man ain't had no stamina? She was like, it was awkward. You know, he, like I said, he been celibate for a while. So I'm like, bro, it's like riding a bike though. Oh, poor thing. I mean, the fact that he didn't know how to unhook the bra, I'm like, he must. That don't have nothing to do with celibacy. He ain't got he's lacking experience, which is fine. I'm not saying really. I ain't gonna get into that on here. We really should all be lacking experience.
Well, it's kind of late. Everybody
when we get to
everybody don't lack experience.
I know. I said ideally. The way it was set up, we all should be lacking experience.
There's some things that you should know. I mean,
right, but we should you don't need a
manual. Experience. You don't need a manual to take a bra off.
Well, if you a man and you don't wear no bra,
dog, it's hooks. Unhook it.
But men's stuff don't have hook and eyes. Come on now. A lot of men's stuff don't have hook and eyes, and some women have a hard time with hook and eyes. But anyway. So I guess we're done with them, except when it comes to couple stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see who we want to hit next, because they were kind of long and it runs into the other Miguel and Lindy. So let's talk about Krysten and Mitch.
Krysten and Mitch.
Mm-hmm. So we see Krysten and Mitch getting prepared, packing up for the retreat, and he hopes that they can have a talk on the drive about what happened. Later, he calls it Poolgate.
Poolgate.
He calls it Poolgate. And she was like, she wants to have a, positive weekend. And, she doesn't want really, it kind of feels like they're making a last-ditch effort to see if everything works and they can get it together. But she's looking to have a positive weekend. And one thing I noticed real quick, as everybody's driving up to the house on the hill, all the women drove. All the women drove the cars. I was like, oh, okay.
Must be nice.
And they said it was like an hour drive. It was an hour drive, but all the women drove. So I just remarked that. Usually you see it like some of the women drove, some of the men, but all the women drove.
I thought you were say something, because we take turns.
No, I was just saying.
Yeah, we like taking
turns. They all drove, but so she says what she does is she tries to go into their interactions with positive, optimistic energy, and just sometimes it just doesn't end up like that. She goes down hard, and with Poolgate, he says, yeah, well, you spoke your mind, and I didn't exactly react in the best way. And she
how
says
would you react when you blindsided? Alexis brings that crap up, and she tried to do it again later, but
oh yeah. But Krysten acknowledged I didn't really handle it the best either. But you know, it bees like that when you gotta get something off your chest, and she just let it all out. Yeah. You know, she verbal vomited all over the place. But so she was like, you know, she wasn't particularly proud of how she handled it, but it did give her a chance to clear the air. And you know, she was like, she sort of just snapped, but she apologized to him, and he accepted her apology, and he acknowledged that he felt attacked, you know, in that space with everybody and what everybody was saying, and he understood that she was upset, you know, going into it, but he felt like she was saying things that she never said to him, but at the same time, her thing is, well, you said things to my sister that you hadn't said to me,
right? And
he said, you know, it's my fault. I know all of this came as a result of the conversation I had with your sister, and you know, she shared that with you, and her thing was, in the end, with Dr. Pepper's comment, she wanted him to say so badly that he thought she was beautiful regardless, inside and out, and I didn't get that. That's what I wanted. That's what I expected, and I didn't get it. And he was like, here we go again. You know, Mitch got a problem control. He said, I felt like I was a puppet. They were using me like a puppet, and since I didn't do what they were, you know, expecting the puppet to do, I just don't work like that. And he says, but in a moment in the car, I think you're beautiful. I think you're smart. You know, he didn't say he was attracted to her, but he did say
not there. But he does say it later.
Yeah,
he does. And
she was like, "That's all I wanted. You know, for the last 8 weeks, that's all I wanted.
I want some affirmation.
For you to make me feel good." And so she appreciated.
Here's a problem. I have a problem. He doesn't make you feel good, but you give him the draws. Look, that's always my issue. If somebody's not making you feel good, if you feel like you're not yourself, you feel like you're not all. Why are you giving him your goodies? Why are you giving your candy dish? You think that's gonna change his mind?
No, sometimes it's just about personal pleasure. She wants her needs fulfilled.
She got her needs fulfilled. She says she has 3 vibrators.
She says that later.
But she said, I know she says that later. So her needs can get fulfilled.
But that ain't the same.
I know it's not. Listen, I know it's not the same. I understand. I know it's not the same. But you want the person that you're sleeping with as a man or as a woman to have some kind of respect and affirmation and care for you. Because there are people who just can do the sex, right? Do the sex and not have any care or any love or any affirmation, anything for you. I appreciate you. Thank you. You know, there's some people like that. But again, she's talking about, I wanted all this time. Well, you should have held your goodies off until you got what you wanted. Not thinking, hey, if I give, because we know she felt that if I give Mitch all of me, that he'll change his mind about the attraction, change his mind about everything else. And it didn't work out for her like that.
Yeah, but like I said, I think in the end, it's part of it was just trying to get my man, you know, just trying to get mine.
She was just trying to get hers, and guess what? Pull out one of them anyway.
I can't
say that, but anyway, go ahead.
For them, they have a little thing they go to. They went to play shoot bow and arrows. They went to do archery. And because I don't want to say they played archery. You know what I'm saying? They shot bow and arrows. It's called archery.
The activity of archery.
They did that. And she said she's never done it before. He said, I probably haven't done it since I was a Boy Scout, which I can't believe.
You remember our archery moment?
I do. We have pictures. Maybe you could put that on the thing.
I mean, put some pictures of our archery moment.
We did.
I won.
And they had fun. What? I don't know. I don't even remember that. What?
I won. The way I recall it.
I don't know. I just know we did it.
It was great spending time with you.
No, so you see the kind of person I'm married to. 21 years ago, I won. So, what difference do that make? It was just fun to do.
I remember the W's. Anyway.
So when they do the archery, was it the person that was doing it that had the idea? It was like, okay, so what I want you to do is put something on this piece of paper that you like want to get rid of and shoot an arrow through and just be done with. And for Krysten, her word was attraction. She said, I just want to be done with that whole conversation. Like, I'm over it. You know, are you attracting me? Are you not? Calling you out on it. You know, me being focused on it. Like, I just want to be over with that. So she puts attraction on her target.
Yeah.
And for him, he put Poolgate.
Poolgate.
And he was like, cause basically that was an embarrassing moment. You know, I just felt put on the spot. It was just a lot in that space. And Krysten says, well, I saw it differently. Like, I still want to put it on the target, but I felt like that was a turning point where I could actually be myself and say what I wanted to say in that space. And we got it all out on the table. And now we're in a better place.
Yeah, it was a coming out moment for her. It was her being able to release, as she mentioned, all the things that she's been holding in, which we find out a lot of couples are holding stuff in. Mm-hmm. But she wanted to release it, so I'm not mad at her at all.
And so they both shoot the bow and arrow and hit their target, hit the word, and it's like, that's over with. We know that's the case because later when they're at dinner, the couples, Alexis brings it up. Oh, so you attracted to your spouse now, Mitch? When he leans over to kiss her, and he was like, yeah, we're not talking about that no more.
Yeah,
we done with that.
I'm glad he shut her down.
Yes, because she's so messy.
But everybody knows. I mean, when we get to the awards, we'll talk about that more. But everybody knows. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna know.
They're gonna know.
They're not gonna know.
They're gonna know.
Yeah, they know. They know.
So yeah, that's it with them. Okay, so we can start on Miguel and Lindy.
Yeah, let's go Miguel and Lindy.
Yeah. So with this couples retreat, Miguel had the bright idea that because Lindy never had a prom, that they're going to take this time and have a prom for her. Mm-hmm. And he's got buy-in from all the couples.
Yep.
So they're going to do a prom for her, have a whole nice little setup. And he got her this pretty sparkly dress, which when she first showed it, it didn't look like it was. It was pretty and sparkly, had like kind of like a mock neck, long sleeve. But the back was out. We got to see that later. I was like, oh, okay, that is pretty. And
you know, he can shop all that Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. Oh, matter of fact, because apparently he got this dress from the costume shop.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, you got the dress from the costume shop we went to. And, yeah. So she's excited about that. And she said it means a lot to her that Miguel would set up this prom for her and that all the couples have chosen to participate in it. And so when they get to the house, everybody comes in and they're admiring the house. And like we said, the house was beautiful. The first thing they're going to do is do the prom. So that's when everybody's getting dressed. And it was funny because as they're coming in, let me say this real quick. As they're coming in, like Mitch and Krysten come in and they have these titles under them. So their title was Senior Class President and 5th Year Senior. That was Krysten and Mitch. Yeah. So Kristen's the Senior Class President. He's the 5th Year Senior. Stacia and Nate come in and they're the cool kids.
Yep.
We see Alexis and Justin come in, and it's the jock, or as you said, the jack.
The jock and the cheerleader.
The jock and his cheerleader.
Yes.
I really do think it should be backwards.
She's the jock and he's the cheerleader. It could be that way.
He's absolutely her cheerleader.
He's the cheerleader and she's the jock.
I think it's flipped.
I think it might. Y'all let us know. Should it be flipped?
I think it is.
Should she be the jock and he be the cheerleader? Let us know.
And so when Miguel and Lindy come in, they're the nerds, which is funny. But before they get to that, you know, she's in the room trying on her dress. The sun is coming through the window all nice, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, look at me! Take a picture of me! Come on, Miguel, take a picture!" And he's like, "Bruh, don't talk to me like that."
She was like, "Do it now." She said something.
Yeah,
something rude.
She said it like, "Do it now!" Like, get up, take a picture. And he's like, "Look, don't talk to me like that. Don't you ever talk to me like that."
Yeah.
And she was like, "I was just kidding." He was like, "Look, I'm not in the mood to be your personal photographer. You know, I was laying down. It seemed inconsiderate for you to ask me. Don't take a she tells him, don't take a selfie. Don't take it, take a picture." And he was just like not in the mood. And she was like, "Well, I didn't have that intention at all to come off like that."
But you did.
Yeah, you did. And he was like, "Look, do better reading the room."
But you know what it was? It was her being like, like little squirrel.
Yeah, she was just
she excited.
Yeah, she was just excited.
But she has to read the room, understand, okay, my husband right now might be tired, he's relaxing. And there's ways that you can ask. There's ways, and I agree with him on that, ways that he can ask, "Hey, by the way, I'm looking good, I'm feeling good, do you mind taking a picture of me?" The way she said it was like, get up now, take a picture of me. I'm ready. I'm trying to do it right here, do it like this. Basically, she became bossy. And so she became bossy, and he was like, I'm not feeling that right now. Now, we don't know. You know how people are when they just wake up. We don't know if he just woke up or whatever case may be. He's a little grouchy, a little grumpy, been a long day. All this, and she's not reading his emotions. And
this is what I said on the flip side. She didn't read it that, oh, he's tired. Maybe he doesn't feel like it. But at the same time, you know, it's like, let me ask him. Now, she did get a little bit forceful, you know, and come on, get up, take a picture. In that moment when he, like, was slow moving, this she should be like, oh, okay, never mind. But on the flip side, he should have been reading the room, too. Like, I set this up for her. She's excited. She want to take a picture. I know I'm tired. Let me get up and take the picture.
Yeah, you got to push past.
Let me get up and take the picture. Then you can lay back down. Yeah. You know what I mean? But instead, she gets all amped and, come on, hurry up and take a picture. And he gets defensive, you know. So they both needed to read the room and read each other. And
I agree with that. It was on both sides that they both needed to understand what was going on here. And as a man, sometimes you're going to have to push past some things in order to make sure that your wife is happy or to match their excitement. I ain't going to just say the man, but the woman has to sometimes push past some things to match the husband's excitement. And we got to be on the same page when we're both matching each other's excitement.
Yeah. And so from there, like I said, they go into the prom. And I thought it was cute. All the couples, they each had corsages and boutonnieres.
Yeah.
Stacia made a point to say, hey, I bought a gown just for this. And her and Nate was looking real flops, like, okay.
They had the no socks with the black sparkly shoes.
Yeah, but it fit him. It wouldn't fit nobody else.
Age group, man. I mean, little baby look like his son a little bit.
Age group.
You know?
He is not our son's age, but yeah.
He's in that realm where they wear no socks and come on, he's in that age. Now we're not that old, but we're.
I mean, we got to be old enough because we've been married 21 years.
That don't mean that. We just got married young.
You figure it out. No, I'm just saying we're old enough. I ain't saying we're old.
Oh.
And so Lindy was like, you know, she doesn't want their argument to ruin the night.
Right.
You know, that's what she's got on her mind. But Miguel's got other plans.
Yeah.
But anyway, the cute part is they was like, come sign my yearbook. So they had yearbooks with everybody's pictures in it. Like, I know Miguel didn't do this by himself.
No, production helped us this.
Yes, but in combination, whoever, like, it was really cute and really cool. I was like, aw, that's cute. They even did superlatives later.
Yeah, Married at First Sight did a good job with this.
Which was hilarious. But, so they're having a good time. They do some shots or whatever, and they're dancing. And in one moment, all the couples are, like, to themselves, and Miguel takes that moment to, like, harp on this picture thing again. And he was like, this whole situation.
I don't want to say harp like it was bad. He wanted to clear it up, get it out of the air, and so he can move on and have a good day. He just wanted to express his opinion. He seemed like the guy to me that he can't really hold anything. That when it's time, I need to get it done now and move on. I don't want to wait until later. If it bothered me, let's talk about it now. Let's talk about the issue. Let's get it out of the way so we can enjoy the rest of our evening.
We're not going to enjoy the evening the way he came about it. Like, he disrupted the whole...
I'm not saying the way he came about it is right, but I'm saying it was bugging him. He didn't want to wait.
Right.
He wanted to go now. Let's get it done now, so if we can get it off our chest, maybe we can enjoy the moment, the season, the dance, the prom, whatever.
Right. I feel like with him bringing it up at the point when he did and how he did, like, he ruined the moment. Like, if this was supposed to be... I understand we're having an issue. I feel like... And I know it's, you know...
He couldn't get into it.
He could be like that, yeah. But in that moment, again, sometimes you gotta just suck it up. Let her have her moment. Let her have her moment, and it never fails.
Never fails.
Let her have her moment, and then, you know, you can talk about it. Hold it. God knows, I know what's eating at him, but you did this for her.
Yeah.
So but anyway, so he was like, you know, he tried to communicate that he was resting and she missed it. And he said she gaslighted him and BS'd him because you said you weren't upset or frustrated, but you obviously were. And she was like, then you try to say you was joking, and she was like...
She wasn't joking. That's her defense mechanism. She lied because she wasn't joking.
Yeah.
She was serious.
Oh, that the tone you gave said you was irritated, and that doesn't fly with me. Don't talk to me like that ever. He does that again. Don't talk to me like that ever. She said, I admit I got frustrated, you know, but I was joking. Like, I was frustrated, but I wasn't frustrated like that. That was the joking. That was the joking part. But
a lot of people say Miguel here shows his controlling side.
Yes,
he shows his controlling side and his controlling emotions. Like, look, you're less than me, kind of, and I need you to conform to when I say and what I say and how I say it, and I need you to do it. And we see her break a little bit later, and that's the way she was sounding when she was talking to everybody after the kickball game was like, I can't do anything right. Everything I try to do. He makes it an issue, and makes it wrong, and so it's that.
I mean, that is what happened.
He's breaking her down, and you can see him breaking her down, and you can see her getting broke down.
We're seeing that same Miguel that we saw from the beginning that's been pushed down for the last couple of weeks. But that same Miguel in the pool trying to like force the sex on her, basically. That Miguel's coming back up. It absolutely is. But she was like, you know. She didn't know she offended him. She didn't realize she got so riled up. Which, again, it goes to the conversation past the cow. It just happens with her. She don't understand. She don't realize that she's there.
Yeah.
Also, later on, what they talk about is that they're still getting used to each other. And this is Lindy. And I think Stacia, no, I don't know if it's Stacia, but they talked to Miguel about that. It's like, maybe he can't handle this part of Lindy. Yeah. But all of that is her. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, he's worried about how easily she gets annoyed. And she yelled at him. And he calls it an outburst. And she's like, I don't call that that's not an outburst. You know, why would you say that? And then, like I said, she said, I feel like he's being selfish because he's ruining the prom, which he did. Again, it could have waited.
He ruined her moment.
It could have waited, you know, because she said he couldn't get past it. And, you know, she said she feels like she's losing him. She's trying to follow what he's saying. She's not really getting what he's saying. And so, not losing him like losing him, but yes, losing him. But, like, I don't understand.
He's pulling away.
Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying.
As long as this conversation goes on, he's pulling away. I agree with you. When I was saying that he needed to address it is from his perspective. This is what he needs to do. Now, me personally, I would have waited until this bad boy was over. Because I did something before. I don't want to ruin the moment. And I don't want other couples, because the other couples were looking and staring at him like, what's wrong with y'all?
And it was some strange guy behind them.
Oh, it was production.
With a white...
Production was getting some food.
Yeah, my husband was like, who's that? With a white shirt on and sunglasses on his shirt. But I think a better way to be... But you never know. People's like, you know... I want to enjoy this prom thing, but, you know, I do want to talk about what happened earlier. So, you know, we can talk about it later. Because at the same time, you don't want them to have such a good time at the prom, and then you get back to your room, and you're like, "Rrr!" And you're like, where'd that come from? You didn't act like you was mad. So say something up front, you know, I really didn't like how that situation went down earlier.
It's other ways
we'll talk about it later. I don't want to ruin the prom.
Right.
But I do want to talk to you about it.
There's ways he could have communicated that it didn't have to go raw. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the communication is a key. You can address something without having to be turning into World War III. You can address it in a good manner and allow it to, you know, calm itself down. Kind word turns away wrath every time.
Yeah.
Especially in marriages.
After the prom, when they talk, he said he's glad he was able to have that conversation at the prom. And, you know, he said, ultimately, I just want to trust the answer that you're giving me. If you tell me that you're not frustrated, I want to believe that you're not frustrated. But your actions tell me that you are frustrated. But again, that comes from not knowing her. Maybe that is not her frustration. That's just her. That's just that from her. So let's go back to the party. So they do the superlatives.
Let's just stay on them real quick because I want to get to them, and then we'll come back to the superlatives in a couple. I want to stay on them because let's get to when she's taking the picture again. Because when she's taking the picture again, she decides to ask the production person to take the picture, and now Miguel's offended because she didn't ask him to take the picture.
But this is when you say that, but we got to get the other background too. Okay, so they do their activity, and it's a carriage ride.
That's right.
And they do the carriage ride, and you know, overnight, they felt like they kind of got in line when it came to their communication or whatever. It's her first time in a carriage. So it's a lot of firsts for her. Mm-hmm. And she was like, this, again, it's a first that this is a memory that we can have together. And he had a poem for her. And he was like, I wrote this poem. And he's doing a poem. But mind you, we're on a carriage ride. Never been on a carriage ride. It's not like we're just riding. Yeah. There are animals. There's scenery. You know, it's stuff to enjoy. So while he's telling her, reciting his poem, she's like, oh, look at the bunny rabbit. Oh, look at this. Which way you go, George? Which way you go, George? Oh, look at this. Which way you go, George? And he's like... But see, so he continues to try to do the poem. And
well, that's on him, though.
And I'm going to get to that. You know, and, you know, she's looking around. So he was like, oh, and then I got this other poem, too. And so he's saying the poem. And it's not that she's not paying attention, because she says, oh, I heard you. You told me that one before. But she's also looking at, again, the scenery, the animals, enjoying the carriage ride. And he's like, oh, it's irritating me because she's distracted by the animals and while I'm saying out, and it just bothered me when she kept interrupting. And then, you know, she apologized for it, but he's frustrated. They had a conversation after the carriage ride. Was like, you know, you weren't paying attention to me. She was like, so... you don't want me to enjoy the moment? Like, I was trying to enjoy the moment and soak the moment up. I was listening to you, but you just want me to just be focused on you. That wasn't the point of the carriage ride. The carriage ride was to enjoy the carriage ride and what we see on the ride.
There's ways he could, and I thought about this, and as it was going on, in between my eyelids, sleeping, because this is the part I really kind of drifted off in. I ain't saying a lot to y'all, all right? But I had to go back and rewatch. But my part here was this, what he should have did was, he could have asked the carriage driver to stop and say, okay, bro, partner, can you hold on for a minute? You know what I'm saying? Or he could have grabbed their hand, looked in her eyes, hey, Lindy, I have a poem to recite to you. See? And then he recite the poem. Very easy. Mm-hmm. Get her attention and then communicate what you want to communicate. That's the inexperience right there.
Yeah.
That's the inexperience because he didn't grab her attention. Maybe it's a frustration, something he overlooked. But when you're speaking to your spouse or speaking to someone, and there's a lot of other things going on, you got to make sure they have the attention. That you got to have their attention. Whether you grab their hand, put your hand on the shoulder, whatever, so they can
make a point to get their attention.
Make a point to get their attention.
Yeah.
And that's what he should have did. And they would not have had this argument if he had done that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was like, I don't ever want to feel like I'm competing for your attention. And, you know, either I have it or I don't.
That's stupid. You're always going to be competing for someone's attention.
That's on you. You never had a husband before. She was like, you ain't never had no wife. Mm-hmm. Like, really? We're both still learning each other. It's a process. And, you know, this is where she felt like, I'm darned if I do and darned if I don't. Like, what do you want from me? You want me to, we set up the carriage ride so I can enjoy it. But you don't want me to enjoy it. You want me to be all up in your face.
But what he wants is her to do it his way, which is not right. Yeah. Not always time right. What happens in this communication, this argument was he wants her to do it his way, the way that he perceived in his mind that it should be done. And what happens is in marriage or in a lot of times we have things perceived in our mind how it should be done or what your spouse should say, what they should do. But it goes back to what Dr. Pepper or I think Pastor Cal, one of them told Stacia, your mate's not you. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to that. Your mate is not you, so they may not do it the same way that you do. They may not do it the same way you expect them to do it, but take them where they're at. And that's why she can be darned if she do and darned if she don't, because she's not doing it the way that he expects. Mm-hmm. Or saying what he expects her to say.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, he basically brings her to tears, and she walks away, and she was like, you know, I'm sick of feeling like I'm not enough for him. You know, I want to put my foot down on this, like, bruh, come on. We're still learning each other. We have to pick up on context clues. And she was like, either you love me and accept me, or you don't.
Or you don't.
And it's like, you know, they're trying to figure out where they go from here. He said he acknowledges I need to be more sensitive and, you know, express myself better. And he was like, you know, it's terrible that we had this blow up or whatever. She was like, you call this a blow up? I don't call this a blow up. We're having a mature, structured dialogue. You know,
again, it's a regular conversation.
Why is this a blow up? It's not an outburst. And if you think this is a blow up, You really couldn't handle my outburst. You couldn't handle me. You know, you're going to make me lose it.
I'm tired of saying that, but again, she is correct, though.
Yeah.
Because you have a disagreement doesn't mean it's an argument. You have a disagreement doesn't mean it is it's detrimental. It's going to be detrimental to your relationship. Doesn't mean that it's end of the world. But again, they're a young couple. And I don't expect young couples to have that in them yet. And I think when sometimes we watch Married at First Sight, we think these young couples should know how to navigate marriage. He doesn't. He don't know how to navigate marriage. Doesn't know how to navigate an argument in a committed relationship. And so because he says he's the guy who runs. We talk about Alexis all the time. He even said in this episode, man, I'm thinking about running. I'm thinking about leaving. I'm gone. You know, so in Married at First Sight, I think we have high expectations of these couples. And some of them don't know how to maneuver. No,
and so after they go for the carriage ride, it takes them a minute to come back. The couples have dinner.
Yeah.
And like they don't show up, so all the couples are like looking for them, and finally they show up. But it's like after everybody else has eaten. And so, you know, they said they were worried about, all the couples said they were worried about him. And, you know, Miguel said, we got into an argument. You know, I'm on the edge. I came into the weekend low energy, you know, irritable and tired. So that's the first thing, is you didn't come in a good space anyway. And so when you're irritated and grumpy and all like that, it don't take much to take you over the edge. You're already, everything gets on your nerves. You snappy all the time. And so he acknowledged that. And while he's telling Stacia and Nate about this, what we didn't mention before, after the prom, Stacia and Nate was like, we got something for y'all, kind of help you out. And some of the toys they brought the swing. Yeah. They brought the swing for Miguel and Lindy.
Which, mind you, they didn't get to keep. On after party, she talked about they didn't get to keep the swing in that room. Sasha just let them borrow it. So I guess they didn't work out.
And so, yeah, Lindy's like, I don't know, how safe is it? Can you try it out first? Basically, is it secure? So Nate sat in it to make sure it wouldn't fall down.
That was weird.
But he just, because he was the bigger person, Miguel ain't going to sit in it. And it's his. So, you know, we brought the swing. Let me try it out. If it fall, it's, you know, I'm going to fall. It ain't going to be y'all. But, you know, so, you can use it like this and sit in it, put your legs here. And so Lindy sits in it and she puts her legs out and Miguel's imitating, you know.
They need to lower it a little bit because he was not.
Yeah. Imitating, you know, use of it. But then she turns around backwards in it and swings back off it. And that's when Nate was like, y'all might want to read this. I don't think you're supposed to use it like that.
Y'all just trying stuff now.
You just trying stuff. Don't do that. But so when they come back from the carriage ride and they share again some more frustration they had, you know, Nate was like, you know, you can borrow the swing again if you need to. You know, we can get the swing to you. And he was like, I don't know. And then Justin throws in, what, is the swing made for 6-8 people? And Nate was like, I think it's made for women. I mean, you could sit in it, but it's made for the woman. But, okay.
Even they questioned his masculinity.
They was like.
They questioned his masculinity.
What?
His comments.
But, taking me off the prom.
Or it goes back to his naiveness about what sex toys and swings and things like that.
Yeah, he don't know. So, as you touched on before, the other thing with Miguel and Lindy is that she wanted to take pictures outside with the way the sun was coming in. And because she knew that was a point of contention for them, she said, I'm not going to ask him. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the path of least resistance.
Right.
I'm not going to ask him. I'm going to ask the producer. She says, hey, Sammy, can you come take a picture of us? And then Miguel's like, I mean, you could have asked me. I could have took the picture. And she was like, but I didn't want to offend you. And he says to her, read the room. She can read the room, sure.
Wrong words. She used the wrong words. Offend you. What she should have said was, I saw you sitting on the couch, and I didn't want to bother you.
No. What she was saying was, no, she said it right. She said she didn't want to ask him and end up offending him like she did before. Right, so that's what she meant when she said she didn't want to offend him.
But the asking him is not what offended him. The way that she asked him is what offended him.
Yes, but she didn't want to.
But she didn't understand that.
Close.
But goes to his point. She didn't understand what she did. It's not that you ask me. It's the way that you ask me, because he said, I don't talk to me like that. Mm-hmm. And so it's not what you said, it's how you said it. I don't mind doing it for you, but can you say it in a way that is respectful and understanding.
And that's what I'm saying. And so what she opted to do, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So what she opted to do is, because remember, at this point, she still feels like, I can't say anything right.
Correct.
So I'm just not going to say nothing. So let me just, the easiest thing for me to do, so I don't have to read she's thinking, so I don't have to read the room.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't say something when you get upset, is I'm just going to ask somebody else.
Correct.
And he was like, that doesn't mean you can't never ask me to take a picture. Again, you need to read the room. Just ask me. Why didn't you just ask me? Did I want to take a video or picture of you? Because she didn't want to ask, because she's like, but he going to get mad again.
Get mad again, but which goes to, I said it, I'm going to say it again, which means she didn't clearly understand the whole point of the argument.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
I know, but she
understood. And so my option is, I'm just not gonna mess with it at all.
I'm not gonna deal with it at all. But then not dealing with it at all, dealing with it at all, got them to the point where they're at in this argument here, because
I'm not saying it's right, but that's what couples do a lot of times. Like, you know what? Because I don't want to go there. Like, I'm just gonna avoid the possibility of an issue. Not talk to you, but of issue. So let me ask somebody else. That way you ain't got to say, because her thing was, again, he was in the room resting and relaxing before. So she said, I figured that you was enjoying the sunset too, and that I was going to let you enjoy that, so I asked somebody else. So that's how she read the room, and so. And
then you got, if you look at the background of this scene, Justin's back there ear hustling. If you look at it, he's standing there ear hustling. That's why he knows everything. He's always lurking.
And we're gonna get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Superlatives. But so she, like she said, she opted to play it safe with him, and she's like, I wanted to let you enjoy the sun. And in that moment, he's upset. Again, you didn't read the room. Why'd you do it like that? Yeah. And she tries to hug him. He's like, no, like, get away from me. Don't touch me. And she's like.
Hence the title for the show, No Hugs.
Dang. He was like, I just don't feel close to you in a moment. I'm getting pissed off with everything. I don't feel close. I don't want to give you a hug. And he was like, he wants her to understand that, where she's coming from. But everybody's giving mixed signals. I think he was wrong in the way he did it. He should have said, I don't feel like giving you a hug right now, like, because I'm upset, and this is how I am when I'm upset. Like, I don't.
Communication.
I don't want to be. I'm not lovey-dovey when.
But she felt rejected. Felt like he shunned her. Like, hey,
because that's how he did it. He was like, don't touch me.
Yeah, he shunned her.
I was like, dang.
He was rude, and he admitted in his vignette. He said, when I get like that, and when negativity gets around me, I get rude. I get.
But I felt like when he said that, he was throwing off on her, because remember he said before, when she gets real negative, it affects me, and I don't like being in that space. So when he said, when I get negative, to me, I felt like he was throwing off on her a little bit.
Oh, he probably was. He was still in his feelings. I mean, they do some of these vignettes right after the moment.
Her thing is, you did the same thing that you told me I did, giving mixed signals, because I asked her, are you mad? And he said he wasn't mad. She said, but stop gaslighting me. You say you're not mad, but you don't want to hug me. Mm-hmm. So, you're not mad? Yeah. And, I mean, and that's when she gets into the you rejected me.
In relationships, sometimes the person the spouse doesn't want to hug, or they don't want to be left alone. And I mean, and that doesn't make it right.
Yeah, they just like, we got to figure it out. We got to get it together. She starts crying again real hard, ends up going to the bathroom, and then messes with him. And he goes to the bathroom to talk to her, and I don't know if it was of his own accord. I feel like the producer kind of prompted that a little bit.
I think it was almost cool, because if you looked at it, when she started crying and running, his face was like, oh, dang.
I know, but still, I think, because the producer walked with him, so I'm like, I feel like it was a little bit of that influence. But anyway, he said, I'm just trying to be open and honest, but, it's a lot, trying to navigate this and get used to each other. And he apologized for the not wanting to give her a hug, but he said, I just didn't want to be close to you. And the negative him is just not a good thing, and they're trying to get it together. But yeah, so Miguel and Lindy went through a lot of changes. It was supposed to be a really good weekend, and like she said, it was just supposed to be a good thing, and it ended up not being. And it's not cool.
He's tired. She's tired, and Uni can suppress the goodness, and you can see that they both overflowed here. Mm-hmm. That it was stuff that they had been pushing aside for the sake of having a good marriage, right? For the sake of saying, everybody said we're going to nice smooth sailing, and now everything just erupted. Mm-hmm. One little small argument, right? A little something that's so simple, made this thing just blow up.
So let's go back to the couple. So again, Mitch has the conversation with them about how, they killed pool gated archery. I talked about that. Krysten talks about how the wife in her wants to say yes at decision day, but the woman in her wants to say no. She's telling this to the ladies or whatever. And again, is there enough that happened in the 8 weeks to keep going? Her time is valuable. And Stasia's like, it'll never be perfect. You just have to figure it out. So there's a lot of the couples, talking to one another. Mitch and Krysten talk about how, matter of fact, he got a pet name for her. He did call her Chris. When they were arching, hey, Chris did, la da da. But anyway, that's when they're sitting there and he asked her for a kiss. And she lets him kiss her. And Alexis is like, so are you attracted to your spouse now? He's like, I told you. We killed that at archery.
It's done.
Yes, we're not questioning that no more because the question is dead. Nope. And Alexis is like, we can't talk about it no more. And she's like, no. He's like, no, we're not talking about it. So the funny thing is, okay, remember Stacia and Nate were like, we're going to play with these vibrating panties.
Yes.
This when they sitting at dinner. So she's got the vibrating panties on. And Nate's got the remote. And while they're talking, Stasia's like, I don't know what nobody's talking about. Because Nate is steady buzzing her.
And you can hear the buzz.
Nate is I feel like that was superimposed.
It might have been superimposed. But,
I feel like that was superimposed. But she's like at the table like, when Krysten and Mitch are talking, it was like very inappropriate, her response. They're like, what's wrong with you?
The Nate laughing at her.
Yes, Nate is falling out. And Alexis was like, what are y'all doing over there? You got vibrating panties on it. And they were like, what? And Mitch is like, yeah, you do. And Stacia was like, finally, she kept covering herself up because, she was like, oh my gosh, it's so obvious. And like, she runs away from the table. It's like, he's like, wait, hold on. He goes to check on her and they're in the room like falling out. He was like, I know I said I knew how to turn it off before, but I didn't know how to stop it.
I didn't know how to stop it.
I didn't know how to stop it.
She was like, yeah. It was, look, if you play with vibrating panties, make sure your partner know how to hit the stop button. Especially if you can do it in public. You can do it in public. But you know what? I like that open with their sexuality, though. I think a lot of people like it. I think we haven't seen a couple like this on Married at First Sight ever, I think. That was so open with their sexuality and the things they like to do. And I think it's kind of cool for them.
So after that, like I said, they're all talking in the kitchen. That's when Miguel and Lindy, they didn't eat with the other couple, so they're eating or whatever. And while they're in the kitchen talking, Krysten comes in and she was like imitating Mitch.
Yes.
She's got the shirt on that he didn't want to wear.
Skull cap.
She's got a stocking cap with scarf on her head, like supposed to be making her bald. But then she's got a scully on too. Yeah. And she's like imitating him, and it's just so fun. Like, he got a kick. He was like, I think I'm rubbing off on her.
He loved it.
That's something that I would do.
But one thing I liked was that she asked him, Mitch, you okay? What she was doing. Right. She checked on him, and he was like, nah, I'm fine. Mitch reminded me of Kramer from, what was that, Friends? Yeah, Friends. Yeah, that wasn't Friends.
No.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld show. Sorry.
But, yeah, it's not Friends.
Not Friends. Jerry Seinfeld.
But, yeah, and he was like, I like it inside of her. I'm hoping that, we can progress from here because, he really had a good time with her mocking him. But anyway, so the other thing with the couples is we see them playing dodgeball. There's some pregame mimosas, so, they're getting a little lit or whatever. They talked about splitting the teams up, should be guys versus girls. And Lindy's like, no, I don't think it should be guys versus girls because guys have the advantage. And Mitch was like, yeah, well, there is peen involved. So you saying having a peen gives us the advantage?
And y'all know what peen is, penis.
No,
just throwing it out.
Peen.
Penis. Just, you can say penis. Say penis.
You're dumb. I'm trying to keep it PG.
It is PG.
No, I'm trying to keep... No, listen. Shut up, boy. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'm a nurse. I say those words all the time, but I'm not in family life giggly. They don't do that to me. It don't do that to me. So that's not why I didn't say it. I would say it because that's what we call it. Peen and vag.
Right.
Okay? Gosh. Anyway, so, oh yeah, okay, so peen gives you the advantage. But it's also a disadvantage because obviously you throw that dodgeball, you hit there, they're going down. So, but anyway, they end up splitting up the couples. And so Nate was the captain and Nate and Mitch were the captains, right? Yeah. No, Nate and Mitch or Nate Miguel.
Yeah, because you couldn't have your spouse on your team.
Yeah, and so they're playing dodgeball or whatever. Alexis jokes and says Mitch could have been the mascot because he really wasn't throwing any balls. He was just dodging the balls. And Lindy says when it comes down to the end where it's just like Nate and Miguel, Lindy's on Nate's team. So she's rooting for her team. Duh. Get him, Nate. Get Miguel. And Miguel's like, oh yeah, I see whose side you're on. She's like, my team side. Duh. And he's like, oh, that's good to know. Like, he got all in his feelings.
He didn't understand the competitiveness, but at the same time, she was like, oh, go. She has to understand her husband. He wants a little bit of affirmation in the rough weekend. Go ahead, Miguel, you can dodge him. But at the same time, go ahead, Nate. Oh, she could be like,
How about I don't feel that way about you right now, especially when you're playing dodgeball. I'm not getting ready to cheer you at all.
Or I'm torn. I don't know who to root for. You know, whatever case may be.
No. How about he should know? Now, I thought that was dumb of him.
It was him, but you know me, I'm competitive.
That's what I'm saying. My husband would never. If I was rooting for the person on my team to get my husband out, he would be like, oh, I'm getting ready to show you. You can root for them if you want to. I'm getting ready to dodge these balls. He would not have been offended. I just feel like...
Not at all.
You know, can I be honest? I felt like I questioned if Miguel came into the... if Miguel was on his period that weekend.
He's stupid. He's stupid.
I said Miguel must be on his period. He's so emotional. It's a dodgeball game, bruh. It's dodgeball.
He's already
she's on a different team. She's not going to root for you. Yeah. Unless she just be like, do your best to dodge, but get him, Nate. You know what I mean? So, anyway, he was like, oh, a little affirmation. How about a little affirmation? It ain't going to kill you? And Lindy was like, you know, oh, now Miguel's having an outburst. Since he want to keep putting that on me, I'm going to say it. He had an outburst.
I like the fact that she just didn't take it. That she's kind of she stood up for herself. Not in a rude way, but she stood up for herself and she was giving it back.
Yeah, she's like, here's just another point where I can't do anything right. You know, he got a problem. And so the couple sit down according to their teams. And, you know, so Nate's team was Mitch, Alexis, and Lindy. And she talks about the game. And I see some feelings got hurt. Talking about Miguel, you know, he has a little skirt on. His tail was showing in his skirt, but Nate was like, you know, Nate was like, I wasn't really paying attention to how he was acting. I was just playing the game. But if you say so, and, you know, Lindy's like, you know, that's what you do. You encourage your team and you talk trash to competitors, and her team was like, yeah, that's what you do. And Lindy was like, you know, I just think this is spillover from before. It's just so much buildup, and he's just sensitive right now. And, you know, if that's not the case, he would have received it different. And she's like, I just don't know how to support him. I don't know what you want from me. And
what do you want from me?
In that space, you know, she starts crying. You know, she says, I told him, and she tells them, you know, it takes time for us to learn each other. And, you know, I'm trying to get there. I feel like I'm being myself, and being myself is not enough. He's just tearing me down. It's not good enough for him. And, you know, there's so much for me to do and so much for me to learn in those moments. And when he pulls away, you know, she's afraid that he's been harboring this stuff. Yeah. And then it's going to, again, outburst and spill over. And it's going to be like, I don't want to put up with you. And decision day, it's going to be like, no. And she said the weekend's been awful. So on the flip side, we see Miguel talking to his team. And which is, again, Miguel, Krysten, Justin, and Stacia. And he says, you know, she doesn't want to, he talked about the situation before with the picture. She doesn't want to yell, but she gets animated. And they put in perspective, it's like, yeah, it's not her yelling. It's just, that's how she is. She gets amped.
She gets excited. She
raised her voice or whatever. And he was like, her tone changes. And you know, I start to shut down. And then I censor myself. And it's a vicious cycle. And I just, I despise the person that I'm becoming. And Stacia was like, I noticed a change in Miguel. And, I know Lindy's very emotional and, like, he's not used to that. And, Miguel loves her. He said he still loves her, but, I don't know if it's enough. And Stacia expressed concern in her vignette. It was like, this is how she is. And like you said, he expects something one way. Again, we all have our expectations, but you kind of got to put them on pause a little bit when you come into Married at First Sight. Except for, abusive situations and just, crazy stuff like Morgan and Ben. You have to kind of let down your expectations and what you expect your spouse to be, because even when you know the person you married, y'all are different people.
Different backgrounds.
And you can't expect them, like people. Pastor Cal told Stacia, you can't expect to have married you. But I feel like, Miguel ruined it for Lindy. It was supposed to be a nice weekend and it didn't end up being like that. And so that's pretty much our review, but I want to go back real quick because we didn't touch on the superlatives.
Yes, please go back to the superlatives.
We didn't touch on the superlatives, but that way you can get where we talk about everybody, so you good for that.
You good.
So we talk about the superlatives. So in the party, they said, who's the life of the party? Alexis got that. But she says, I'm going to retire that title because my husband won't let me go out anymore. And she was like, no, I'm just kidding.
And Mitch was like...
But for real.
Yeah, but Mitch said something smart. He was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Who got the best dancer? And Krysten was like, I voted for myself. I'm just kidding. She said, but you got to admit, I was giving on the dance floor.
No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't.
She was giving what she thought it was supposed to have gave.
She was giving what she can give.
She was give, but in the end, the winner was Nate.
She was at 40%.
The winner was Nate. And then before the next few superlatives, they were like, I want everybody to know this is a safe space. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
Don't get offended. Don't get mad. When we do these superlatives. But for the drama queen, we give it to Lindy. And she embraced it. She was like, okay, I'll take that. I'll take the drama queen. Thank you actually, on this weekend, it ended up being Miguel. But anyway.
He take an award.
So for the most emotional... Justin gets the award, and when he comes to get his award, he's like, he does a fake cry, and they were like, but it is you. He was like, but I thank y'all for appreciating that I expressed my emotions. I received that. Obviously, most likely to save the planet, we got Mitch. They was like, bring your trash picking self up here, but hold on, stay still, because it's a twofold award. Mm-hmm. We got because you're good for your awkward moments or whatever, so. You also get class clown. Come here, that's what she called you, trash picking son of a Mitch.
Yeah. But to add to that, on the after party, they said that what we didn't see was they had a water balloon fight.
Uh-huh.
They had water balloon fights, and they used balloons. And so they said after they used balloons, Mitch had them in the grass picking up the balloons.
I know he did.
So it wouldn't destroy the earth.
I know he did.
And they used camouflage balloons, so they was in the grass looking like...
I know he did. So, that was the one thing Krysten said when she dressed up like him. She was like, what is all this plastic? What are y'all doing these? But anyway. So best all around, Stacia won it. And she really looked surprised. And I was like, girl, you cool people. It's like,
mind you, now, also on the after party, Stacia had won all the awards. She had the most awards. She won most of the awards. Talking about success and finances, all that. Mm-hmm. And they spilled that Stacia's a millionaire.
Go ahead, Stacia.
That she's on her way to $1 billion. That she wants to be on her way to $1 billion.
Nathan came
but
up with a come up.
The Stacia's a millionaire. I don't know if she wanted everybody to know her business, but...
They said it. But for best all around, Stacia won it, and Mitch says inside, I voted for my wife because, that was the only real option. Can't vote for nobody else. For biggest gossip, Alexis like, it's me! And she was like, it's me, because obviously I'm the one that said stuff that,
And then Morgan's
ended.
Morgan's been in a relationship.
She didn't say it like this. She's like, people might have got divorced because of what I said. And Nosh was, Nosh, but Nate and Stacia. They're talking. And Nate was like, yeah, she's a snitch. She's a gossip. She should keep her mouth closed. Like, I was like, oh, now we're starting to see how Nate really feels. Tell him how you really feel.
And she went in. But also on the after party.
In their vignette.
Alexis said about the gospel award. She said, I always get blamed for it because I went and told Morgan. But really, the gossip is Justin. Because Justin told all the business. She said, people come to me and talk to me about their stuff.
It's not.
I don't share everything.
But I'm saying, it ain't gossip until you run with it.
But Justin,
when you carry the bone.
But Justin carried the bone to me, and I just happened to carry it to
But that's his spouse. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really gossip when you tell your spouse. But when your spouse go tell everybody else.
But she tried to throw the book at Justin on the after party.
Anyway, then most likely to stay married, Alexis said, Mitch and Krysten. This is like, just kidding. I was like, oh, wow.
Shade.
Wow.
Throwing shade all
But
day
it was
long.
actually Miguel and Lindy, and they gave this little sappy speech considering everything that they went through before and ended up going through later. And then most likely end up with multiple divorces, and Krysten's like, it's me! It's me! And they were like, Mitch's like, I don't know how to take it.
And she's like, I voted for myself.
Mitch yelled out Morgan, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
But she was like, I didn't even voted for myself. Like,
which, mind you, Morgan and Ben did with awards here. You just didn't get to see them. Yeah.
And he says, I just feel like, again, I'm rubbing off on her. She's taking a page out of my book with her sarcasm and the dry sense of humor. And he was like, hey. I make jokes like that, so I like it. In the end, who got prom king? Miguel. And, of course, that means Lindy got it.
Prom queen.
And got prom queen. And that's something that Mitch said before they left was like, I know it's Lindy's thing and she's the prom queen, but, the only queen for me is you, Krysten. Whatever.
Hey, dog, if dude want to be sappy and show his attraction,
it comes across fake.
It works for him.
It really does.
It's corny for him.
But
anyway, she loves it, though.
In the end, before the whole weekend got ruined, Lindy made the comment. It was like, I just appreciate, like, this whole prom thing was cheesy, but I'm glad y'all did it for me. It's cheesy for me, but
I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate it, and it was special. It was like, so they had a good time with the prom, even though the weekend just ended up being crappy for Miguel and Lindy in this beautiful spot, the house on the hill. But
hey, you guys.
So that's it.
You guys let us know what you think. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the bell notification. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Please leave a comment. We'll comment back to you. Make sure you join our membership, and also make sure you watch our panel discussion on Sunday at 6 p.m. with August Love Story and Talisa Ray. Great conversation, great discussion there. Once again, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys, and thanks for joining us on YouTube.
Bye.
Oh yeah, and if you let us know, I'm gonna put a poll up. Never mind. Yeah, I'll put a poll up. What did you think about the whole panties situation? Would you let your spouse have remote control while you wear panties at a dinner? Vibrating panties at a dinner? Answer in the comment section. Goodbye.
Bye, y'all.